Mary Magdalene stands out as one of the most enigmatic figures in biblical history. She was a close witness to both the life and death of Jesus and was entrusted with special knowledge that was later shared through the Gospel of Mary. Although this gospel isn't part of the official Bible today, it was cherished by early Christian communities and is one of the most distinctive Gnostic texts. While the exact date of its composition remains uncertain, some sources suggest it was written as early as the 2nd century AD. Was Mary Magdalene the foremost of Christ's apostles? In this episode of Secret Origins, we'll explore a different perspective on Mary, inviting you to draw your own conclusions. Welcome. In recent decades, the Gospel of Mary has gained renewed attention, largely thanks to Dan Brown's bestseller, The Da Vinci Code. Brown suggests that this gospel provides evidence that Mary Magdalene and Jesus Christ were deeply in love, possibly even married. Did the Roman Catholic Church know about this secret relationship and intentionally conceal it? According to Brown, this could be the case, but how much of this is true? Does the Gospel of Mary offer historically accurate details about the relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene? Were they romantically involved, or was Mary simply a devoted follower and student of sacred knowledge? The Gnostic Gospel of Philip mentions that 3 women were always by the Lord's side: Mary, his mother, her sister, and Magdalene, known as his companion. It says that the Lord loved Mary Magdalene more than all the other disciples and frequently kissed her. Seeing this, the other disciples asked, "Why do you love her more than us?" To which the Savior replied, "Why don't I love you like her?" But who was Mary Magdalene really? Much of what we know about her comes from later Christian traditions rather than the Bible itself. For instance, there is no evidence in the New Testament that Mary Magdalene was a harlot. The story in Luke 7:36-50 speaks of a sinful woman who anoints Jesus' feet with precious ointment. But this woman is not identified as Mary Magdalene. In fact, Mary Magdalene is a significant figure in Christianity, being one of the first to witness both the empty tomb and the resurrected Jesus, as described in all 4 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It was only later that Christian tradition conflated Mary Magdalene with the sinner in Luke's account, possibly to downplay her importance. The Gospel of Mary, though written from Mary Magdalene's perspective, is not believed to have been authored by her. The style, grammar, and theology of the text suggest it was written no earlier than the 2nd century AD, long after Mary's time. The manuscript we have is a 5th century Coptic Egyptian version, likely translated from an earlier Greek or possibly Syrian text. Some theories even suggest it has ancient Bulgarian origins. This gospel is unique in that it is the only gospel, canonical or non-canonical, attributed to a woman. Mary Magdalene was regarded as Jesus' favorite disciple and had many followers, particularly among 2nd century Christians. The Gospel of Mary reveals that Mary Magdalene had visions and conversations with Jesus that were not shared with any other disciple. Jesus imparted to Mary a special kind of knowledge, considering her worthy of this unique gnosis. The Gospel of Mary consists of 4 brief dialogues that provide profound insights into Jesus' teachings, the role of apostleship, and the special status of Mary Magdalene among the disciples. As a typical Gnostic text from the 2nd century, it is rich in Gnostic theology and cosmology and can be seen as an apocalypse, a term derived from the Greek word meaning unveiling, usually referring to secret knowledge. However, it also offers a distinctive understanding of the metaphysical principles underlying Jesus' teachings. This makes it a foundational text for anyone seeking divine wisdom. The Gospel can be divided into 2 main sections. The first part presents a conversation between the resurrected Jesus and his disciples, where he addresses their questions about matter and sin and provides his final teachings and guidance. At one point, Peter asks him, "Since you have explained everything to us, tell us this. What is the sin of the world?" Jesus responds, "There is no sin, but it is you who create sin when you act in ways that are like the nature of adultery, which is called sin. This is why the good came into your midst, to restore every nature to its root." This teaching suggests that sin is not a universal force, but something that arises when we act against the good within us, following desires that lead us away from our true nature. Jesus continues saying, "This is why you are sick and dying, because you love what deceives you. He who achieves will achieve." He explains that many develop a misguided passion rooted in an excessive attachment to material things, creating a desire that lacks true substance because it is drawn to what opposes our higher nature. This results in inner turmoil. Jesus advises, "This is why I have told you to find contentment within your heart, and if you become discouraged, rest in the image of your true self. He who has ears to hear, let him hear." The first part concludes with Jesus giving his final farewell to the disciples, warning them to beware of those who might mislead them and commissioning them to go forth and spread the gospel. After Jesus departs, the disciples are filled with sorrow, but Mary steps forward to encourage them. "Beware of those who may deceive you, saying, 'Here,' or 'Behold there,' for the Son of Man is within you. Follow him. Those who truly seek him will find him." With these words, Jesus left them, and the disciples were overcome with grief, shedding many tears and questioning, "How shall we go to the Gentiles to preach the heavenly gospel of the Son of Man? If they did not spare him, how will they spare us?" Mary then rises, greets them, and reassures her brothers, "Do not grieve and do not doubt, for his grace will be with you all and will protect you. Let us praise his greatness, for he has prepared us and made us fully human." Interestingly, the Gospel of Mary highlights that Jesus teaches that the nature of matter will eventually return to its essence, its root. This means that the good within each of us will ultimately be restored to the highest good, and salvation will be granted to all. The second part of the Gospel of Mary begins with Peter acknowledging that Jesus loved Mary Magdalene more than any other woman and asking her to share the teachings of the Savior that she remembers, but they do not. He says, "Sister, you know that the Savior loved you more than the other women. Tell us the words of the Savior that you remember, the ones you know, but we do not, nor have we heard them." Mary responds, "What has been hidden from you, I will now reveal." She begins to share her experience. "I saw the Lord in a vision," she says. "I told him, 'Lord, I saw you today in a vision.' He answered, 'Blessed are you because you did not waver at my sight, for where the mind is, there is the treasure.' I then asked him, 'Lord, when someone contemplates a vision, do they see it with their soul or with their spirit?' The Savior replied, 'They see it neither with the soul nor with the spirit, but with the mind that lies between the two.'" Here we see the first hermetic principle. All is mind. The world is mental and everything exists in unity. All that exists is part of the One, and the One encompasses all that is. Throughout the Gospel, there is a focus on the soul's journey as it ascends through the four levels of the cosmos, facing challenges from the four powers along the way. The Gospel teaches that knowledge is the key to overcoming these powers, ultimately leading to salvation. As the soul overcomes the third power, it ascends even higher and encounters the fourth power, which manifests in 7 forms. The first form is darkness, the second is lust, the third is ignorance, the fourth is mortal jealousy, the fifth is the ring of the flesh, the sixth is the cunning of the flesh, and the seventh is fierce wisdom. These are known as the 7 powers of wrath. Andrew then responds, saying to his brothers, "Share your thoughts on what she has just said." I, for one, do not believe that the Savior said these things, as they seem like strange ideas. Peter joins in, questioning whether Jesus really spoke privately with a woman and not openly with them, asking, "Are we now to listen to her? Did he truly prefer her over us?" Mary wept and said to Peter, "Brother Peter, what do you think? Do you believe that I made this up in my own mind, or that I would lie about the Savior?" Levi then spoke up, saying to Peter, "Peter, you are always quick to anger. Now I see you arguing with a woman as if she were your rival. But if the Savior deemed her worthy, who are you to reject her? The Savior surely knows her well, which is why he loves her more than us. Instead, we should be humble, embody the perfect man, and go our separate ways as he commanded, preaching the gospel without adding any rules or laws beyond what the Savior taught." In the esoteric book, You, the Source, there is a slightly different story about Mary Magdalene that you may not have heard before, but now is the time to share it. This account suggests that Mary did indeed have a relationship with Jesus, but not with his physical form, rather it was with the source. Here's a question for you. Did you have a relationship with Jesus? Some say you were his wife, others say you were merely his disciple. The truth? Yes, I had a relationship with Jesus. My connection was with the source. Isn't that what you call it now? In the source, we are all one. I am he, and he is me, both the source and Jesus. It is said that Mary Magdalene had a husband and children, 2 sons, but she also had another child, one born of her faith in both Jesus and the source, named Julia. As a disciple of Jesus, Mary Magdalene took on the task of writing a gospel about the inner potential within each person, and together with him, she sought to demonstrate these possibilities through personal experience. I studied and developed the skills to apply the knowledge Jesus imparted to us all, but I hesitated and waited until it was almost too late. Jesus had gone, and 13 years later, as I faced death, I remembered his words, "Faith in life is life." At the age of 43, alone, sick and without the strength to carry on, Mary decided to put into practice what she had learned from Jesus, placing her faith in the source to give life. She wished for a child, a seemingly impossible hope given her condition, yet with unwavering faith and patience she achieved it. For months, as I prayed, I visualized my desire forming like a ball of yarn. Each day it grew, transforming into a ball of light. I would send a glowing spark of faith into the orb's center. Though I didn't fully understand what was happening, after several more months, I felt the presence of a child within me. I surrendered my life in order to embrace new life. With faith in the source, I gave life, ultimately letting go of the body. It is only by accepting the body that one can truly create. As she raised Julia, Mary devoted herself to gathering and documenting everything she had learned about hope, faith, and the power of a pure mind to create. The message she wrote is called Manusterium. Manu, hand, sterium, sterile, pure, and mind. A story about human potential realized through the energy of a pure mind. In it, she describes the world as an ever-changing illusion, a dance of light and shadows around darkness. When a person aligns their thoughts and faith with the Creator and sends an energy impulse towards their desire, life manifests, and the desire becomes reality. This emptiness, which I once felt, filled me with strength and the hope that anything is possible. The impulse that sparked the birth of life resides within everyone. Every impulse, when sent with the same faith, manifests itself, and each of us has the power to create further. She describes this creative process as a cup where faith and emptiness meet. The cup is both full and empty. When someone seeks to create, the fullness overflows into the emptiness, and that emptiness is filled with your faith, becoming the miracle you've been waiting for. This cup, the Holy Grail, symbolizes the means by which each person becomes a creator. By merging with him, you create the world with all your love. You'll come to understand that creation is simply the impulse of your thoughts. To make this happen, one must surrender the body while also fully embracing it, merging with the impulse and the emptiness that defines you, the pure belief that you can, that you are, that this is all there is. And remember this cup, believer, it is real. It's fascinating that Mary, often labeled as a harlot and who believed she could no longer bear children, is the very one who discovers how to unite with the source and become a creator. When we combine this with the Gospel of Mary, we find clear, practical guidance for this sacrament. The most remarkable part is that this achievement is within everyone's reach. What Mary learned, experienced, and documented is a testament that combines the wisdom of Jesus with practical results accessible to all. In this way, everyone can become the source and the creator of their own reality. He who has eyes to see will. He who has a mind to reflect will understand. He who has a soul to feel will grasp the truth. So, is the Gospel of Mary Magdalene historically accurate about her relationship with Jesus? The truth is, we may never know for certain. What we do know is that the Gospel of Mary provides a unique perspective on the life and teachings of Jesus, written from the viewpoint of a woman who was deeply respected and revered in early Christian communities. Although the Gospel of Mary was once considered a significant and cherished text among early Christians, it was eventually excluded from the New Testament and condemned as heretical by the Roman Catholic Church. Despite the debates and controversies surrounding it, Mary remains a vital figure in Christianity and continues to inspire people worldwide. Her story reminds us of the power of faith, love, and perseverance, and her legacy encourages us to seek a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. Ultimately, what we choose to accept and believe is a matter of our free will. After all, everyone has the right to their own beliefs. But we would add that only by bringing together and reconciling seemingly opposing viewpoints can we uncover the purest message. We bow before you and thank you for watching another episode of Secret Origins. Keep your minds open, and until we meet again,